Hi everybody, Miss Judy here with Art Outside the Box, and I've got a special treat for you today. We are going to be making these awesome little buddies, some gnomes. So I've got this one that I did. He's got kind of a shaggy beard, and I've got this other little creature, and he's a lot of fun too. So with just a few materials, you can make these. You can make them for the holidays. They're kind of fun sitting up on a bookshelf. And let me get my things together. We'll get started right away. Thank you for watching. Right, so like I said, you don't need too many materials to make these cute little gnomes. You're gonna start out with a sack, and I've just got it's a new white sack, but you can use probably any neutral color that you want to. But I would suggest probably get like a large to medium that has a lot of stretch to it. And then you'll also need some rice. I have a bowl of rice here, and this rice happens to be multicolored because we did use this for a different project, but plain old white rice will work just fine. You'll need some yarn for the beard. This is just kind of a thick yarn. It's a 2 or 3 ply. So you can either leave it as is, or as you see what I'm doing here, pulling it apart, and you'll get a different, kind of a curlier, thicker look to the beard. So the other thing you can use, and I had seen these on online, is mop. The cotton mops that you get, those make really cool looking beards. So that's another thing you might want to consider. You will need something to make a hat with, and I'm just using felt. So I've got a piece of felt here. I also, to make my hat, downloaded a template, but you can see it's pretty, it's a pretty simple shape. It's like a big piece of pie, like, oh gosh, maybe 2/3 of a pie you have to cut out. And then I've got a little embellishment. I'm going to put this on the end of the cap. On these, I used a little feather. So you could use a jingle bell if you want to do a holiday Christmas themed gnome. The possibilities are kind of endless. So the way I'm going to start out is with my yarn, and I've got about 12 to 15 pieces of yarn here, and I cut these approximately 12 inches. You can trim this off later, but I'm simply going to take another piece of yarn, find the midpoint here, which is about right there, and tie a knot. So that's pretty simple, and this is what is going to make his beard. And then if you want to, this would be a good time to separate these out if you want to give it a little thicker look. If you don't think you have enough here, you can go ahead and add some more yarn to get it as thick as you want. So that's entirely up to you. But that's kind of the basic idea there of what you're looking for. And next we're going to take our sack. I forgot to mention you will need a small rubber band. Set that aside. I've got my rice, my sack, and this is a little tricky, but I'm going to kind of stretch this out and use a plastic cup just to start filling the sack up with rice. And I can't tell you exactly how much you're going to need, but probably a good 2 to 3 cups. And as you fill, you can just kind of squish this down. Feels kind of like a bean bag. And you can see that it's sort of taking shape here. I'm going to keep going a little bit. What? Yeah, that's a little tricky. Put that in there. Whoops. Glad it's not messy. Okay, here might be a good way to do this. Gonna keep pouring that in there. And we'll add one more cup here. Yeah, the more you fill it up, the harder it gets to add more. So, all right, push that down. And that's what I got. So this is gonna form his face. I'm going to take another piece of yarn and just tie this right at the top here. Give that 2 knots. Okay, so there's the head for your gnome. The next thing you want to do is make his nose, and that's pretty easy. You just start pinching your sock with the rice in it. You want to put it about midway down his face, and when you get a nice little round shape, take your rubber band and twist it around a few times. And there's his nose. Looks kind of silly so far, doesn't he? But it will come together once we put the beard on and make the hat. So let's put this aside for a minute and work on his hat. All right, so like I said, I just cut out a template for a cone shape, and I'm gonna lay this out on my felt. I've also got my hot glue gun here. You can use tacky craft glue. That'll take a little bit longer to dry, so I'm going to stick with the hot glue for this project. And we'll cut this out. Fun thing about these is you can do any kind of a theme you want with them. And they're really cute sitting up on a shelf, on a bookshelf, or on your desk. I just think they're kind of funny. You know, this isn't going to be perfect. What I would do is cut out the pattern and probably trace it onto here. But I think this will work out all right. Okay. So this is going to form my little cap, and I'm going to take a line of hot glue. I think this is warm. And put it right down the edge. Being careful not to get it on my fingers like I usually do. And then I'll just fold this like so, and bring this right over. And I'll put the seam in the back so nobody will see it. Okay, you're gonna wanna hold this down for a minute. Probably need a little touch more up here. Yes, that is hot glue.
All right. And from KitchenAid, oh, great. All right, I'll separate those. Carol told me I would.
Okay, so there's our basic hat right there. You can see we'll be able to turn the cap down on it. If you want to, you can flip this up when you put it on his head. There's all kinds of ways you can make it look different. All right, now I'm gonna put his hair on. So this is gonna go right underneath his nose because I'm going to put the cap right on top of his nose. So I think the easiest way to do this, and just kind of scrunch him around till you can give his head a different shape here. But I just took 2 of my strands and I'm going to tie that behind. And that'll hold this on. Okay, so you can see how he's kind of starting to take shape here. Most likely you're going to want to trim this off. I've got quite a bit here. Okay, let's put the hat on. And I'm going to trim my sock. I don't need all of this excess. This is a real good use for those socks that don't seem to have a match anymore. All right, so there you go. We're gonna glue this down to his head. And I like to pull it right down to the top of his nose. Ouch. Got a little bit on my finger there. Okay, and then I'm going to take the hat and kind of tilt that down a little bit. I'm working backwards here. And take my pom-pom, glue this on. When you're working with hot glue and fabric, it's good to hang on to that for just a second. It takes a little bit longer to soak in than it does with paper. All right, so there you have it. The only thing I'm going to do with him to finish him off, you can tuck some of that hair up under the hat. If you feel like you want more hair, you can add that at any time, but I'm going to trim some of this off. And then I will probably unravel it because that gives you a kind of a more fun look. And then we'll be all set, but there you go. That's a good starting point to make these little guys, and they're lots of fun. I think they're pretty cute. So here I am with my new friends, the gnomes. I had fun making these, and I can see a lot of possibilities to do some really cool things with them. So just with a few materials, a little imagination, you can have a great time, and these make great gifts for your friends or for yourself. Thanks. Have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.